Morning, everybody. Welcome to a Thursday. It is the 26th day of August for 2021. I'm Dan Gresham. Welcome into my house this morning. Quick sprint from the office back to the house so that you and I can get together, our community that we've created over the course of the last, year and a half now? It's hard to believe. It really is. It's hard to believe that some people have not been in their office or workplace for more than a year. Some people, it's coming up on 2 years. It's true. It's true at my place. I'm sure a lot of you have been working from home. Certainly, I have never envisioned having a studio, set up in my house, but I do. And it's nice to have the ability to reach out to you in a variety of different ways. We're on Facebook here, but we're also on YouTube. So if you want to check it out, you can. There are lots of ways. KFDM Facebook, Dan's Facebook page, Dan's at Home Facebook page, Dan's at Home YouTube. You can subscribe there and you can watch them as well. Because it is a Facebook post, you can comment if you want. I can see your comments. You can tell me where you're watching from. You can tell me what's on your mind. You can tell me how your day's going. That's totally up to you. Let me just show you real quick what I'm talking about. See, I can see Stephanie is there. I can see Wayne says hello. Cleo, you can give a shout out to somebody else, as you can see. Seek shelter. I think we're okay, Kyle. I don't know that we need to quite take it that far unless you want to seek shelter from the heat. At this point, Jonette is here this morning. So is Tammy. Chiquita's up this morning. Rebecca is checking in. Rachel Marshall is checking in this morning. Jennifer is here. So you see what I'm saying? It's easy. Just post up where you're from, what you're doing, how's your day going, what you want to see, what we need to be talking about. I'm pretty sure I have an idea on what's on everybody's mind this morning. It's no mystery. It's tropical in nature, right? You got up this morning just like everybody else and you went, okay, fill me in. I've heard all of. First thing I'm going to tell you, we're going to go to the website and we're going to look at the stuff that's being posted. But the first thing I want to tell you, as a person who has spent more than 40 years living in Southeast Texas and reporting on storms, more than 40 years, 35 of them at what I consider be the weather leader in Southeast Texas. Have times changed? Sure they have. But what I want to tell you this morning, first off, is trust only the people that you believe have the knowledge, right? Just because you see it on social media and they make it look real good, they have a map and they have a cone and they have all these spaghetti models, that doesn't make them someone who has the knowledge. That makes them someone who has a computer. That's what it makes them. So don't let that fool you just because somebody says this is where. Trust the people who know. I want to mention I've been sitting in the same place for 35 years. I've been sitting beside one of the best, Greg Bostwick. Nobody has more experience. Nobody has more knowledge. Nobody's going to watch this closer than Greg Bostwick is. So again, put your trust where it should be in those folks, and we'll keep you up to date. At this point, let's go ahead. We'll show you what's on the KFDM website this morning. Let me remove the banner so that you can see that a little bit easier this morning. Give me just a sec. There we go. And also forgive the frames that keep popping up, the eyeglasses. Apparently, I made the mistake of looking for a new pair. And once you do, that's all that bombards your feeds every day. But this is KFDM.com. First up on the internet, you see it says update on developing tropical system. Chad posted this, 7 a.m., the latest from the National Hurricane Center. Things are looking a little bit better. If you read this story, things are looking a little bit better. Apparently, this computer has a mind of its own this morning, but things are looking a little bit better because the formation of the low looks like it's a little bit further north than it originally thought. Here's the thing, though. It's still too early to have any kind of conclusive evidence as to where this might go. And you know as well as I do, if you have any history here in Southeast Texas, that just because you even have a trend or you have some knowledge or you have some model runs, that doesn't ensure that, it's a done deal. That those are indicators. There's no certainty at that point. That's why it's called the cone of uncertainty, right? So you'll notice when you start looking at the National Hurricane Centers, they start putting these maps out, which they're not doing yet because, quite honestly, this thing is not formed. So there's nothing to track yet, but it's expected to happen. Most everyone agrees that it will happen. The consensus is there. Then they will start putting in track maps. Then they will start giving you the cones. And remember that, the further you go out from the point of origin, the further you go out on that cone, what happens? It spreads out, right? That means the further out it is, the greater uncertainty of where it's going. So when you hear somebody talking this morning and they're talking with confidence, they're like, this is going to New Orleans. That should be a red flag. And it should be a red flag because it's too early to tell where it's going. It may wind up in New Orleans. But at this point, anybody who tells you that they know for a fact that that's certainly going to miss Southeast Texas, I don't see how they can do that. I don't see how they can do it. Again, as people who have lived through this, how many times have you seen these things change? Timelines change, speed up, slow down, direction change. How many times have you watched storms get into the Gulf of Mexico? And again, let's look at this one, where it's located right now. You're looking at this thing. It is, there you go. There's Santo Domingo. So you got Cuba there. You're talking about, the Yucatan Peninsula. Kingston, Jamaica is where the storms are, but the actual low is south of the thunderstorms, right? So give this a little more time. Let this develop a little bit more. Let the people who are the experts see what's happening and wait for them to tell you. Because if you're jumping the gun, you're making yourself stressed out for no reason. There's no reason. Now, if you want to go buy bottled water, that's okay because no matter what, it's going to be hot, right? You can drink the bottled water. If you need batteries, go get batteries. It's always good to have them on hand, no matter what. But if you're doing it because you believe that you know where this storm is tracking, then you have better insight than anybody else in the world. Because at this point, quite honestly, it is just a watch and see. Could very well be that this thing goes off to the east of Southeast Texas. And if it goes east, there's a very limited exposure to Southeast Texas. Look at Laura from last year, Lake Charles. They were, pummeled, and we hardly got anything. And we're 45 miles away? Orange got more, the closer in proximity, obviously, the more the chance that you're going to see damage. But right now, let's just keep it where it needs to be. And that is watching, maybe starting some early planning, just because, again, you can't err if you have bottled water at your house. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. You'll use it one way or the other. It's the way I see it. It's also that time of year. We should be doing this all the time. Don't let your gas tank in your vehicle get below half. Keep it up there so that you can always have a good tank of gas. Because if something happens and there's some kind of demand to rush on things, then it's going to be difficult to get. But if you do it all the time, you keep your car on full, then you're always ready. You're being prepared, whether it happens or it doesn't. Prepare for the worst, right? Hope for the best. That's always been a pretty good mantra, no matter what we're talking about. All right, let's get back over. So we'll keep this updated. Chad will be back at noon. He'll have the latest. Greg will be in throughout the afternoon. He'll keep you updated. We're really now talking about the way this is looking. We're probably talking about Saturday, Sunday, Monday, somewhere in those 3 days. And again, as it moves out into the open waters of the Gulf, we'll know a whole lot more. Hey, can I ask you to do me a favor before you go? Because I know a lot of you are going to check out. Now that you got what you want, what's the latest on the storm? Would you hit me with a like, a thumbs up? It has a lot to do with what happens moving forward, with how many people can see our at-home updates, because it doesn't come to everyone and they don't get the alerts. It's an algorithm that has to do with the way they do things in social media. So if you hit me with a thumbs up, that helps get the post out a little bit further. And it builds our community. It broadens our community that we have created here on Facebook and on other social media. Let's go back, check on some of the other things that we're seeing this morning from you. Yeah, okay. Emma Jean says, good morning, Dan. Thank you. You're welcome. Again, I just want to keep you updated. Tom, how you doing up in Frankfort, Illinois? I hope all is well. Or Illinois. I'm sorry, not Illinois. Alicia, you're welcome. Glad to do it. Jennifer Foster says, love KFDM. Always follow their meteorologist. Good idea. Denise Reed, good morning to you. Hi, Gayla. Glad you're watching this morning as well. Nicole is up this morning. A lot of folks are jumping on. Again, hit us with the like. We'd appreciate it. Tell your friends. We try to do this on a daily basis. I wish I could tell you it's going to be at this time every day, but I can't because it just depends on what's going on at the office and how quick I can get home. Like to do it as early as possible, and we'll continue to try to do that and keep you updated. All right, just a couple more things we want to check on this morning to make sure you're well informed before you head out into the day. Another KFDM.com story that directly contributable to the COVID issues that we are facing today. Have you seen this one? Where now death certificates are delayed. You know, it's just not having enough manpower. So now we're hearing from various folks in the funeral industry who say, you know, you're probably going to have to wait a month to 6 weeks to get a death certificate. In the old days, you got it 2 to 3 weeks. But because of, you know, shortage of manpower, now it takes a little bit longer. Also this morning, we had another school, actually more than one, 5 schools, which are part of the Catholic diocese, have decided to go with a mask mandate. Texas Tribune, good place to go if you want to check on some of the newest statistics. There you go. More than 13,900 Texans are hospitalized this morning with COVID-19. We are getting close to the highest previous hospitalized mark we have seen since the pandemic started. And, you know, that's to me kind of indicates where we are. And again, we're better than 31% hospitalization. All hospital beds are taken by people with COVID related issues, 31% in our 9-county area. I like looking at this because it shows you vaccine doses. What are they? They're up. Average new cases, they are up by 217 compared to the same 7-day average last week. Hospitalizations are up. I should say the average cases are down. Hospitalizations are up. Deaths are up as well. One more COVID issue for you this morning. I thought it was interesting. AP poll. Half of U.S. workers favor employee shot mandate. Half of American workers in favor of the vaccine requirements at their workplace, according to a new poll. Poll from Associated Press, NORC Center for Public Affairs shows 59% of remote workers favor vaccine requirements in their workplace, compared to 47 of those who are currently working in person. I don't know, just kind of interesting to find and look at people's sentiment. We know where the governor's sentiment is here in the state of Texas. He has essentially said, not in my state. There are not going to be any vaccine mandates. Well, but you know, we also were told there would be no mask mandates, and now that winds up in court. All right, Danielle Gobert is asking, what do I need a death certificate for? That's a good question. If you've never been there, you probably wouldn't know, Danielle. Danielle, it's when a loved one dies or someone dies and you're trying to take care of their affairs, you have to have a death certificate. Let me give you a good example. Let's say that they had life insurance and you want to file a claim on that life insurance. You have to have a death certificate. A person cannot be cremated until, my understanding, they have a death certificate. It's an end of life issue, obviously, that affects the loved ones, not the deceased, but it can cause some problems if you're waiting on that money, because that's what you're going to live off as a widow or a widower, and you're waiting 6 weeks just to get it, and then you still have to go through all the play out of the red tape. You can see why that might be a problem. All right, I'm going to finish up this morning. I always want us to end on something lighter. And this morning, we're going to end with this one. I thought it was kind of funny. This is Houston Chronicle, byline Dan Solomon. This is actually, this is Texas Monthly. I'm sorry, Texas Monthly. Beth says, best thing in Texas. That's kind of what Dan does. But anyway, Patrick Mahomes bringing his love of Whataburger to Kansas City. What do you do when you make more money than you can spend and you're living in Kansas City and you miss something? You just buy it and bring it to your town. So essentially, Patrick Mahomes is building his own Whataburger. A lot of us would say, I don't blame him. I have grandkids who've been raised on it. I think they literally are jonesing sometimes. I got to have my Whataburger. But I think they come by it honestly. It's a good story. If you're interested in reading something a little lighter today, go check it out. Again, Patrick Mahomes, native Texan, doing what he needs to do to get it done. All right. All right. So that's it for me today. I don't want to dominate your day. I know you've got a lot to do and things to get. I've got a few things to do myself, not a whole lot, but a few. So I'm going to get out the door and go do those. We'll be back bright and early tomorrow morning. Of course, we'll get you the latest information on what's happening in the tropics. If it does form, it would be Ida, I-D-A. That would be the name of this tropical issue, would be Ida. And so we will have the latest coming up at noon, as I mentioned. You can get it at KFDM, also at Fox 4 noon today on KFDM. Chad will update. Then beginning at 5:36, 9 and 10, Greg Boswick on KFDM and Fox 4 with the absolute latest. We promise we will keep you. Always, there was an old adage that was used by a newspaper and television stations. It said, when the weather gets bad, we get better. I've always liked to believe that's true at KFDM. When things, when you need the information, we're going to do our best to give you the information you need. So check it out. Also, of course, you're on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Go out and make it a terrific day. Thanks for joining us this morning. We'll talk again soon.